beautiful, a beautiful history of the work that I've done over the years, and my associates, my collaborators like Thelma, Michael, Ballhaus, and all the others. It's a hard act to follow, Wim. Hard act to follow. So, listen, 47 years ago, I'm sitting in this beautiful Pontiac Bonneville, and I'm sitting in the front seat of this driver. The top was down, we're cruising along. Skip James is on the sound system. First time I ever heard him. And then suddenly, I see this guy on the road, and I jump behind the front seat, and I duck out of sight because I don't want to see this guy. And that was Vim driving the car. It was his car. The music was blasting, and the guy on the road was Michael Powell. And I was ducking from him. Not that I owed him any money or anything, it's just that he shouldn't see me because he was getting a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Telluride Film Festival, and I was there to present the award to him, but it was supposed to be a big surprise. It was 1978. That was the same year, I believe, or 77, I think it was. Anyway, Vin decided to put me in the Pontiac and take me to show me the streets, or actually the street of Telluride. It's only one street. And Michael came along, and I had to duck. You know, and a couple of days later, as Vim pointed out to you, we were convinced by Tom Luddy to ride back to LA, drive back to Monument Valley. And all I can say is that, yes, you saw the highlight of it, the car with the spare tire, which we didn't have any. And that incredible, what was that camera? It was a Russian camera. It was a 360 that you had. It was beautiful. The panoramic camera that he was taking. But the thing about it, in Monument Valley, being such a great admirer of John Ford and all that, but I found that it was really like being in one of Vim's films. His moving pictures, his massive, floating, delicate, contemplative, where everything in the Wenders film, everything in the frame counts. The space, the light, the shadow, the color, the gesture, the movement, the emotion, but most of all, the mystery. And if you want a definition of cinema, you don't try to find it in words. Look for it in films made by artists who live for the cinema. Look for it in pictures like Perfect Days or Anselm, which is so moved by Perfect Days, and such a refreshing, extraordinarily refreshing film. Beautiful, contemplative, and moving. Wings of Desire, as it's known in English, is an extraordinary picture made in this city at a moment of real profound change. And as far as my own films, I don't know how, what I can say about, 50 or 60 years, and we were saying 70 years of filmmaking? What happened? I mean, I can't do it without talking about, I really can't do it without talking about the world in which the art of cinema is really celebrated and discussed and appreciated. And that is the world of film festivals. The very idea of a film festival begins in Europe. I mean, it started with Venice, I think, and then Cannes, and then the Berlinale, which began as the city was being rebuilt right at the end of the Cold War, right at the start of the Cold War. Like, for example, in '68, when Brian De Palma won the Silver Bear for Greetings, it was a very important event, and it was a real turning point for all of us, for Brian, of course, and by extension, all of us who were working low budget in America at the time, particularly not in Hollywood. Low budget independent pictures, quite rare in America at the time. It helped open the way for filmmakers like Jim McBride and Phil Kaufman, for myself, and certainly for Brian and others. It gave us stature in a sense that the studios started to take us seriously. We began to make films at the studios. It paved the way for me meeting up with Bob De Niro and casting him in Mean Streets. And 10 years later, I would come to Berlin for the first time with Raging Bull, the opening night in 1980, and then back again with the Rolling Stones and Shine a Light, and then again with the 50-year argument, the New York Review books. And it was at the New York Film Festival, which grew directly from the European model, and which was started by an Austrian and an American expatriate based in London, when I was first exposed to the pictures made by them and the other filmmakers who came to be known as the new German cinema, Alexander Kluge and the Straubs and Herzog and Fassbinder, which of course leads me to Michael Ballhaus, that loved collaborator of mine and dear friend whom I miss every day. I really do. Michael and I met at a point in the early 80s when I was really at a low point in getting pictures made. It was almost impossible. And we made this film After Hours, and apparently it's going to be shown here in a restoration, finally. And that, actually working with Michael on that picture, it re-energized me and created me again as a filmmaker, because anything was possible with him. And I was able to move in a very, very free way, and also, quite honestly, cut the schedule down in half and made the picture with an incredible amount of energy and love. And we enjoyed every frame, and we shot it all at night, so I didn't have to get up bed early. We were all, we were all, at that time, all these different movements and filmmakers affecting each other from all around the world, and watching each other's pictures, complimenting each other, arguing with each other, and going down our own paths. I mean, what else can one do when you become obsessed with an art form, when you live it, when you have to be on your own? You have to be on your own. That's the lonely part. But it's so important to remember that even though it's lonely, that you're part of a community. And that community of people is driven by an obsessive love with this art called cinema. And the work that we do individually is part of a great, ongoing, ultimately endless conversation. Endless. Endless and timeless. And I really feel that I've been blessed to have taken part in that conversation for most of my life now. And as for looking back on my work, I mean, I don't know, I can't. I guess somebody else can, the way Vin was able to put it so beautifully together tonight. But I can't. Partly because I really do seem to keep wanting to make pictures. So maybe I'll see you in a couple of years, I hope, another one.